I also want to just, as I wrap up, current topics that are discussed. I think it's important that Muslims have a perspective on the questions of the day. For example, rape culture, campus rape culture. And I recommend that you read an article that came out within The Atlantic just last month, titled "The Uncomfortable Truth About Campus Rape Policy." And within this series, it's a series of 3 essays in The Atlantic. And The Atlantic is typically a liberal outlet. It argues that the culture that enables sexual misconduct is this kind of bacchanalian party culture where there are no clear guidelines for proper relations and interaction between the two sexes. Okay? And when you create an environment and infuse it with drugs and alcohol, then it's inevitable that you'll have a lot of messy situations, a lot of regret, a lot of remorse, and feelings of being violated, which are very real feelings. No one is denying it. But it's caused by the larger context and the larger environment that has been created, largely in part by a kind of feminist liberal mentality. And so if we talk about rape culture, and this is what the article argues, as well as other articles that were written in response, you can't address this question of rape without addressing defined roles for the genders and how to interact. If people don't know, if they don't have standards of behavior, then they will mess up. There are no defined expectations for behavior. And so it's unfair to expect young men and young women thrust in that environment, in that college environment, without parental guidance, without any family structure or support, without any defined roles and responsibilities and expectations. How can we expect young people to behave correctly? It's an unfair expectation, so something has to change. This is a crisis that even non-Muslims and even liberals have recognized. So what has contributed to this blurring of gender roles, blurring of propriety and proper behavior? If you constantly tell people that, express yourself sexually, and to be sexually healthy, you need to find avenues to express that sexuality, okay? That is such a generic advice and a generic value to impart and to impose and condition young people to adopt. Of course they're going to make mistakes. Of course they're going to fall into destructive behaviors. And from an Islamic view, this is something very obvious. It's very obvious if you tell people to indulge in their baser desires, to indulge in shahawat, that will pull the human being down, and that will cause self-destruction. Okay? We are told and taught in the Sharia and Islamic ethics and law teach us to control ourselves, to control our desires, to bring our internal state in accord with the sacred law and sacred ethics. And this is for our own flourishing, okay, on the individual level, and then again within the context of the family. Islamic law applies not only to the individual, but also to the family, also to society overall.